Okay, I get it. I've been talking about Kanye West a lot, but I find this story absolutely fascinating. Hey there, everybody. It's Rev Kev here. Pray you are having an amazing day today. So I wanted to do one more little video following up on the whole Kanye West converting to Christianity thing. Now, I've kind of changed a little bit of the format of this channel. I want to talk about pop culture, and I want to talk about the things that I'm into. Star Wars, Superman, board games, video games, all the things that I really enjoy, but really look at those things from the Christian perspective. And I do that unapologetically, not as someone who's trying to push my faith on anybody or trying to say I'm right, you're wrong, but this is my worldview. This is, my world. That's how I believe and how I think. And so yeah, this was a big part of the change. This came out of some of the conversations I heard from other YouTubers who are really promoting small channels. Be you. Don't try to be them, be you. So I'm a pastor. Rev Kev. That's what people have called me for years since I've been a pastor. And so I want to talk about this stuff. And so this Kanye West story for me is just absolutely fascinating from a popular culture movement and how Christianity and popular culture haven't tend to play nice with one another. I mean, when you watch most popular movies or most popular TV shows, let's be honest, the Christian characters are usually mocked. They're usually the butt of all the jokes. They're usually portrayed as dumb, as not as smart and educated as the other people, a little dim-witted, and things like that. And so Christians haven't always been well treated in popular culture. Same is true on the Christian perspective, that Christians haven't necessarily treated people who are stars or bigwigs in popular culture with respect. So to have someone like Kanye West, who's obviously a huge name in the music industry, to convert, to have an experience, to be so much more open to the things of God through Jesus is a big deal. And it's something that we have to look at. And as you study online and you watch all these different videos and YouTube channels, there's a lot of this going on because pop culture and Christianity hasn't always played well together. So I was watching a video recently from Sadie Robinson. And if the name sounds familiar to you, yes, it's that Sadie Robinson from the Duck Dynasty family. I'm a huge Duck Dynasty fan. Oh my goodness, I loved that show. It cracked me up from beginning to end. And so, wait a minute, let's set it. Gotta roll, bend that. There you go. Totally into Duck Dynasty. Absolutely loved it. Anyway, in Sadie Robinson's video, which I'm going to put a link for right here, check it out. This girl knows her Bible. Holy smokes, I was so impressed with this young woman in her biblical knowledge and how she was addressing this thing. And I want to highlight something that she highlights in this video, is the Christian response to what we're seeing. I've talked a little bit about this, but here, this is kind of what the Bible has to say, right? And again, if you're not a Bible person, that's totally cool. No problem. I love you, and I hope you feel loved and respected by me, even though we might disagree in our beliefs. But there was this guy named Paul, and Paul was an apostle. He used to hate Christians. He was a Jewish leader. He hated Christians, and he was going around arresting Christians in the early days of Christianity after Jesus returned to heaven. And he has this supernatural encounter with the resurrected Jesus and becomes a follower of Jesus. And he's the guy who basically writes most of the New Testament. He's the guy who travels all over the known world, raising up pastors and elders and raising up churches. And he had a lot to say about the church and about how Christians deal with the things of the world. And he talks about this in one of his letters that we call the book of Philippians, because he wrote it to the church, the Christians in a city called Philippi, right? And this is what he says here in verse 15 of chapter 1. My dog is about to knock over the camera, so if it falls, it's my dog. Thank you, Paisley. But this is what Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 15. It says, "It's true that some preached Christ out of envy and rivalry, but others out of goodwill." And that's been some of the tension that we're seeing with pop culture, Christianity, the Christians against Kanye West. It's like, this can't be good, this can't be true, he's manipulating, he's taking advantage of, he's an antichrist. Really, someone said that? Come on! But this isn't new. This was happening back 2,000 years ago. And then Paul says this, right? Some do it out of love, knowing that I'm put here for the defense of the gospel, because Paul wrote this while he was in jail. And then he said, the former preach Christ out of selfish ambition, not sincerely, supposing that they can stir up trouble for while I'm in chains. Again, they're not honestly Christians, but there's some benefit to them to proclaim Jesus and to talk about Jesus and to be preachers for Jesus. There's some kind of selfish gain that comes from it. And Paul knows this. He knows it's happening. So again, Christians going, ooh, Kanye West talking about Jesus as king. No, 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 can't do that. Look what Paul says. This will blow your mind. He goes, but what does it matter? The important thing is that in every way, whether from false motives or true, that Christ is preached. And here's the clincher. The guy in jail who wrote this says, and because of this, I rejoice. See, and rejoice is a big word. I'm going to put on a happy face that I'm not faking. And I'm going to go, wow, look what is happening. There are buses in Times Square playing music declaring that Jesus is king. There are signs in Times Square declaring that Jesus is king. Across the internet, it's exploding. This topic is trending all over the place. My tiny little minuscule insignificant channel has gone from 320 subscribers to almost 470 in 5 days. It's crazy. And people are commenting and messaging, about their journey with Christianity, their journey with God, and overcoming, drugs and questioning and seeking and trying to figure this out. This is a good thing for people to question these things and to figure this stuff out. So, man, hats off to Sadie Robertson for pointing this verse out to me. I wouldn't have gone there. I wouldn't have thought it. Sorry, I'm pointing over to my electronic Bible over here. So, man, hats off to you, young lady, for recognizing that and sharing that in your video. This has really spoke to me. In that tension, popular culture, Christian worldview, not wanting to like each other, but Paul deals with this. He addresses this, and we as Christians, don't put Kanye on a pedestal. Don't make him the next Billy Graham. Don't say he's here to save the American church. No, but holy camoles, we should look at what God is doing here and just flip and rejoice. Excuse my language. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. This is just kind of my closing thought on this topic. Thank you so much for all the comments. It really means the world to me. Thank you so much for all the new subscribers. My son and I, we're going to do some more hip-hop reviews in the days to come. He's really into this stuff. I've listened to a lot of other singers, and so I'm really excited to learn more about that. But I would love to know your thoughts. Are you struggling with this topic, or do you not even care? You go, Kevin, just go back to talking about Star Wars and move on to something else. We're going to do that. So starting next week, Mandalorian's dropping. It's going to be so amazing. So anyways, would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I so appreciate each and every one of you. God bless you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.